Let's bring in Congressman Jared Polis of Colorado, who is a businessman, who is the founder of Pro Flowers. Congressman, I wanted you on the air tonight because you're a guy who has met payroll. You're a guy who has dealt with employees, dealt with wages. This is a very interesting strategy by the president. Instead of being heavy-handed about it with the Congress, he's going to the resource. He's going to the job creators. He's going to the people that sign checks and meet payroll. What do you think of this strategy, and can it work?
First, from the heart of Broncos country, we appreciate your confidence, Ed, if not your support for the upcoming game. Look, this is the kind of leadership that businesses react well to. It's saying, here's some best practices that are in your interest. Many small and mid-sized companies don't have the ability to put together a thoughtful approach to personnel to make sure they get the best person for the job. The president's saying, look, in your advertising, in your interview process, here are some best practices that you can, as an option, we're not forcing you, we're not saying you have to, you can adopt to make sure that the long-term unemployed get fair consideration so you as an employer can hire the best person for the job. It just makes sense.
Well, it seems to me that the president is exhausting every angle to bring wages up in this country. Do you think this pledge to give a closer look and not discriminate against the long-term unemployed is going to have an impact on their lives?
Well, yes. You know, the answer has never been just renew unemployment insurance, renew unemployment, renew unemployment. We should need to do that out of compassion. We're talking about people that could lose their homes and their livelihoods. But the real answer is let's find a way where they can get back to work, have that sense of pride, support their families, and let's make sure that the fact that they've been out of work for 2 years, for 3 years, doesn't count against them and actually prevent them from getting a job, as it does in all too many cases.
You know, Congressman, there are roughly 4 million Americans still unemployed right now who have been out of work for 27 weeks or longer. When you get under 27 weeks, it's roughly 2 million Americans. How big a problem is this as you see it?
It's a big problem, and I've run companies, and when you're an HR person in a company, there's too much of a temptation to say, look, somebody who's been out of work for a year or two, we've gotten enough resumes, we're just going to put theirs at the bottom, there must be something wrong with them. And the fact is that's not always the case, and it takes a president to really step up and have the courage to say that's not the case, and he's let over 300 businesses that have already signed on to these practices to ensure that people aren't discriminated against just because they've been out of work.
What are you hearing from Republicans on unemployment extension? Is that a dead issue with them?
You know, we need to keep pounding it, pounding it, pounding it. I mean, they seem to think that people are lazy and don't want work. That's far from the truth. We need to find a way to get people back to work. In the meantime, again, people's livelihoods, their families, their rent depend on this, and many people stand to lose everything if we don't renew unemployment insurance.
What are you hearing from the unemployed in your state, in your district in Colorado?
You know, I think the same things you're hearing across the country. I mean, they want a job, first and foremost. They're not looking for a handout. They're not looking for government help. They want a job. I think President Obama's leading the way by helping to make sure they get a fair interview process. You know what? If they don't have the skills, they're not going to get the job. They can go back and get those skills, or they can try for a different job. But if they have the skills and the ability to excel, they ought to have the chance to excel and show what they can do and not be discriminated against just because they've been out of work.
Congressman Jared Polis, good to have you with us tonight. Good luck to your Broncos. I do think you're going to win the game. I think that Peyton Manning has had an extraordinary year. If he's half as good on Sunday as he's been all year, the Seahawks could be in real trouble. Good luck to you.
Thanks for your confidence, Ed.
Thank you. We'll be right back here on The Ed Show.